And are you refreshed?
Yes.
Good. Now what? Stand if you think it's you. Further forward, further forward. You're the one.
Thank you. Not sure where to start. I have had a lot of...
Get right in there so they can hear you. Yes.
Okay. I have had a lot of physical challenges throughout my life, and I have fairly recently begun to appreciate those challenges and difficulties because of the good things that they have brought to me.
Well, that's one way of looking at it, because overcoming diversity and all of that sort of thing. But there's another thing that we want you to consider, and then we'll hear you fully. And that is, when there are physical challenges, remember that when a problem is coming into focus, a solution is too. So that literally means that sickness brings wellness. But sickness that you continue to look at sickness brings more wellness goes into the vortex. But you look at the sickness, so it gets more sickness, more wellness goes into the vortex, but you're looking at the sickness so you get more sickness. So we haven't said this with this clarity before, but you've set it up for the perfect way of explaining it, that a lot of people are saying, they often don't mean it really fully, that they're not sorry that such and such happened because of the good that came from it. And we just want to emphatically say that good always comes from it, but the question isn't whether good comes from it. The question is, how quickly am I going to start tuning myself to the frequency of the good that came out of it, instead of staying focused on more of the current reality. Mm-hmm. Clear?
Yeah. And I think that's where my difficulty has been, because
the difficulty, we know that we're annoying the way we keep cutting you off, but the difficulty is simpler than you know. You keep talking about it. You keep talking about the problem that we just said to you, and don't be upset about this, because Jerry and Esther aren't getting it yet over the breakfast either. And we know that the reality is compelling, and it seems like that's where the tests are, that's where the doctors are, that's where your physical reality is. We get it, but you have to play that down, play that down, play that down. So if we, who know very well what you've put into your vortex, if we allow you, if we encourage you at all to continue the conversation the way it's going, we don't serve you at all. We have to say to you, stop talking about that. Stop talking about that and talk about this. You see. Now's a good time to start. It's not as interesting yet, and you're not as practiced, and there's a lot more details and a lot more trauma around all of that, but really.
So how do I picture myself well and without any ailments, without acknowledging that I have had those?
Well, every subject is two subjects. So it's a matter of gradually, through practicing the end of it that feels better. And do you believe us at all? Do you believe that when you're experiencing sickness that you're asking for wellness and that the wellness is queued up?
Yes.
So what's hard to talk about that? In other words, we don't get why it's hard. When you could as easily talk about wellness as sickness, why not talk about wellness? You did a little bit. You said, I can accept that some good has come out of it, but do you really believe it? Do you really do you believe it? Do you believe, here's a good way of putting it. Do you ever hear someone say, oh, I've been well for so long and there are a lot of sick people, so I think I'm going to be sick for a while to allow sick people to be weller? You don't ever say that, do you? Because you don't think that there's this pile of wellness that you've been pigging out on and depriving others. And so that's one way of looking at this. And we want to convince you that, do you believe that you are a vibrational being? Mm-hmm. And do you believe that as a vibrational being that you can focus on wanted or unwanted?
Yes.
So what is this insatiable appetite, and it's not just yours, almost all humans have it, of wanting to explain what is? What is the big deal about what is? What's the big deal about what is? Is it, you know what it really is? I'm running around with a whole lot of other humans who've forgotten who they are, that don't remember about the vortex, who have trained themselves away from caring about how they feel. And we are, for the most part, just a big human complaining pity party. Those are the books that sell. You want to get a best-selling book, then dig yourself into a really deep hole and then crawl out. And they'll clap when you crawl out. We're just trying to get your attention a little bit here. We want to convince you that you don't have to tell the story about reality. You can tell the story about vibrational reality. But when you say it's hard, I can't do it, I don't know how to do it, that only means that's because you've practiced the reality story more than the vibrational reality story. Do you know anybody? Have you ever, and we won't tell, have you ever told a fib for so long that you forgot it was a fib? Do you know people who lie really easily? That's what we want from you. We want you to take a departure from reality and train yourself into the improved reality, into the wanted reality. We want you to train yourself. But so many of you have believed that you've got to tell it like it is. And so someone says, how are you? And you don't feel that good. And you feel like you should tell them, well, I really don't feel that good. And they didn't really care. They didn't really mean, how are you? They meant, hi. So just practice as best you can. And so the answer to your question is, how can you practice the better feeling when the reality isn't there yet? And we say, catch yourself at the best moments that you can find and emphasize that to yourself. And do it over and over again. Just find the best feeling moment that you can find and practice it from then. And it is our promise to you. It will get better and better and better and better and better.